Sit comfortably. Keep the spine gently lifted. Keep the hands in any comfortable mudra, either in Chin Mudra like this, or just simply placing one palm over the other on your lap. Whatever posture is fine. We're not going to go too much into the mudras and all of that right now. You can just rest your hands on your knees, however you like. Okay. Close your eyes, come back to your breath. Now, if you want to switch off, you can switch off. If you want to keep it yourself on, keep yourself on, but just keep the device by the side. Don't look at it. Okay, just don't look at it and just move your attention back to your body. Keep your awareness with your body. Bring your attention to the movement of the breath, to the movement of the body with the breath. Just observe how your abdomen naturally rises and falls. The movement of the chest with every inhalation and exhalation. Not trying to breathe deeper, not putting in any effort. In fact, let go of every effort and just become present with the breath as it's happening naturally and effortlessly. So drop all effort. And if you feel that being on camera is making you rigid, being on camera is making you put an effort, you can switch off in that case. Now come back to your breath. Just feel the movements of the body with the breath. Forget everything else for the next few minutes. And you'll notice that within a few seconds, your mind wants to run away. Your mind finds something else to latch onto, and that's all right. Simply unhook the mind from wherever it has disappeared and bring it back to the body movement as you breathe, back to the breath. We're starting with the body first because the body is more gross. It gives us something tangible to anchor our awareness before we move to the subtler level of the breath directly. So wherever your mind has drifted off, just unhook it, anchor it back on the movement of your abdomen, on the movement of the chest. And you'll notice that sometimes the breath is short, sometimes the breath is long, sometimes the breath is shallow, sometimes it is deep. Every breath is different. So just become fully present and observe. Just observing these slight movements. And resist the temptation of running away with the mind to other thoughts. Just bring your mind back here from moment to moment. The only effort is choosing the breath over any other thoughts that come and go. Choosing to stay with the breath rather than running away with the thought. Very nice. Now we're going to narrow down our area of focus from the entire body to the area around the nose. So from the top of the nose, that is between your eyes, to the top of the mouth, this entire triangular zone, just bring your entire attention to this part of your body. at the nose and around the nose. And simply feel the touch of the air wherever you can, at the nose, at the nostrils, above the mouth, at the upper lip, through the nasal passages, at the rim of the nostrils, wherever you feel it. With every in breath, feel the touch of the air. With every out breath, exhale, feel the touch of the air. And you might find a sense of restlessness coming in, a sense of boredom coming in. But these are all the mind's ways to keep us from being present with the breath. So I urge you to not give in to these. Let them come and go, but keep your attention with the breath. Feeling the touch of the air with the in breath. Feeling the touch of the air with the exhale. No other effort except being present. And every time you choose the breath, the chaos of the mind loses its power over you. Keep coming back to the breath. The natural breath, no effort. Only presence, only observation. Again, the mind will want to run away in a few seconds. Just bring it back. Fix it firmly on the breath. Just letting the breath happen on its own. Not trying to make it long, slow, deep. None of that. Just natural breathing happening exactly as it's happening on its own. Keep choosing the breath. Keep coming back to the breath. Keep coming back to the touch of the air at the nose or around the nose. And initially, it will sometimes feel, especially if you've had a disturbing day, it will feel like you're almost wrestling with an elephant, which is the mind. It can feel like that. If it does, don't worry. Just come back to your breath and stay anchored here with your breath. If the breath is too subtle because the elephant is too wild right now, broaden your awareness, come back to your body, feeling the belly rise and fall, feeling the chest movements with the breath. Now we're going to switch our focus from the breath to the one in us that is observing the breath. So there is the breath which is happening, and it's happening on its own. You're not putting any effort into breathing. Nature is breathing through you. You're just observing it. You're just present with it. And as nature breathes through you, there is something in you that can observe it. So now start to look at what in you is observing this phenomena happening. What in you, which part of you is observing this breathing happening on its own? Just try to move your attention to the source of that seeing, wherever you might feel drawn to. And again, the mind will want to pull your attention out. Let it try what it has to try, but you stay firm. Keep moving your attention to what is observing this breathing happening on its own. Nature is taking care of your body. Nature is taking care of your breath. Nature is breathing through you. Where are you? What in you is seeing all of this? Keep moving into that space of questioning, where am I seeing this from? What in me is observing this breathing process? And if you feel you've drifted away somewhere with the thought, doesn't matter, just come back and continue where you left off. Come back to your breath. Stay with the breath for a few seconds, few moments. Once you're steady on your breath, steadily present with your breath, switch the direction to what is observing this. Switch the attention and focus to what in me is observing the breathing happening. And stay with that seeking, stay with that. If that feels too subtle for you, then just stay present with the breath. Don't move into where the observation is taking place from. If the breath is too subtle, stay with the body. So, depending on the state of mind, either with the body first, then with the breath, if the mind is quieter, and if the mind is even more quiet, then into what is looking at this breathing happening. If you feel thoughts come and go, just switch your attention to what is noticing these thoughts come and going. So rather than looking at that movie playing out in front of you, switch your attention to what is watching this movie playing out. Where is this movie being seen from? And try to move into the source of that. And here we're not looking for perfection. So it doesn't mean you have to be perfect in every second of this practice. But we need a lot of sincerity. We need the choice of coming back here. That is what makes us meditate. The choice to be here now. Whenever the temptations of the mind arise to take us away. And again, every time you drift away, first come back to your breathing movements, the body movements. Come back to the area around the nose. And then come back to what is present, what is observing this breathing happening, what is observing these thoughts coming and going, what is observing this mental chaos, what is observing this restlessness. Where am I observing all of these things from? If you feel any emotion arising, just observe, where am I observing this emotion from? So every moment you're moving your attention back to the source of the seeing rather than the phenomenon that's coming and going. Rather than keeping our mind on what is changing and transient, we're choosing to move into the perception of it, which is the unchanging. And you might have noticed that that wild elephant has become maybe 10% calmer by now, or maybe 20%, or maybe 50%, or maybe not at all. Doesn't matter. Just come back to what notices all of this. Where is this part of you that sees what is changing, playing itself out? Every time a thought arises, switch your attention from the thought back to the one who is noticing the thought. Every time restlessness arises, switch your attention from the restlessness to the one who's noticing this restlessness arise. That unchanging presence, noticing all of this coming and going. Stay with that. It's like switching your attention from outside to inside. And inside to the source of what observes, to the seer itself. Stay here for a couple of moments. And in the silence, the mind suddenly might seem louder, the thoughts suddenly might seem to have more power, and that's okay. Just switch your attention back to what is observing these thoughts. If you feel tiredness, if you feel anything, allow them. Move your attention back to what experiences all of this. Always choosing the perceiver rather than the perception of rather than the phenomena that's transient. Coming back to the seer. Coming back to the observer. Coming back to that unchanging presence that sees all of this coming and going. Now we're going to go from the subtle back to the gross very slowly. So from this subtle level of just observing the observer or trying to focus inward on where the observation is happening from, now slowly bring your mind to the breath. Feeling the touch of the air with the breath. And now we're going to externalize one more level to more gross, which is the body movements. Again, feeling the body movements with the breath. And before we externalize the mind completely, let's take a few moments to create or cultivate a feeling of gratitude inside. Just think of anything that you're grateful for right now. The object doesn't matter. It's that feeling of creating gratitude inside, cultivation of that feeling. It could be any small or big thing, doesn't matter what the object of it is. It could be one thing, it could be 10 things. You could just put a collage in front of you of everything you're grateful for. But keep your attention on the feeling of gratitude. More than that collage, keep the attention on that feeling inside of gratitude. And amplify that feeling, intensify that feeling. Really feeling thankful from the bottom of your heart. Again, doesn't matter towards what. It's only that feeling that matters because that lifts our energy up. That opens our heart. That releases stress. Feel that gratitude intensify, amplify. And now I want you to bring this gratitude to yourself. So put both your hands on the heart center. Place your hands on the chest and thank yourself. And as you do that, through your palms, channel loving energy towards your own body, towards your own heart. Really, genuinely thanking yourself. Really, genuinely appreciating yourself. Really, genuinely acknowledging your own effort in things that maybe you don't feel acknowledged or appreciated for. And really thank yourself. Really appreciate yourself. Also appreciate yourself for these 15-20 minutes or half an hour of making time for self-care. And tell yourself you're the best. Even if you've had a long day, even if it was a crazy day, it doesn't matter. Acknowledge this effort of prioritizing your peace, prioritizing your own self-inquiry and self-discovery. And now very slowly bring your palms together. Whenever you feel ready, you can slowly start to come out of the meditation, but don't rush it. Take your time. If you're in a deep flow of it, stay there as long as you like. If you feel that your mind is already externalized, bring your palms together. So take your time, don't rush. Again, offering gratitude to yourself, to the universe. And in your own time, slowly start to rub your palms together. Again, this does not have to be yet if you're not ready yet. Take your time. When you feel ready, rub your palms and lightly place them on your eyes. Feeling the warmth of the palms on your eyes in your own time. Slowly open your eyes. Take your time. Do not rush. In case you're holding your phone and you want to keep it down, keep it down. It's okay if I'm not seeing your face. Just be at ease. If you have water near you, you can take a sip of water. If you don't, it's okay. You can have it later. And again, when you're externalizing your mind, be gentle in the transition. Slowly move your fingers and toes, and then start to move your body. And in your own time, you can open your eyes. Take your time. Thank you, everyone. I could feel the energy shifting in the room. Even if we're off camera, I can feel the energy shifting. And I'm really thankful to all of you for participating so sincerely. I'm going to just talk about the different little bits of meditation we did. So if you would like to stay for that, you're most welcome. In case you feel you want to stay in this quietness and log off, you're most welcome to do that as well. So please feel free to do whatever feels right to you in this moment. Okay, so if you log off, I will not feel offended or anything like that. You can. And if you want to understand what we've been doing, then you can stay for a few minutes more. So we started with simple body observation before we moved into breath observation. And why do we do that? Because the breath is very subtle. The breath is very subtle. And most of the time, especially in the evening, our mind is not so subtle because we've had a day of work, we've met many people, we've had all kinds of interactions, and our mind is all over the place. It's very gross. Sometimes it's very turbulent. So for it to just latch on to something that's so subtle directly is not always easy. So we give it something bigger to latch onto, which is the body, the gross structure. So we observe the movement of the body with the breath. We observe the inhale and exhale through the movement of the belly, through the movement of the chest. That is a little bigger for the mind to hook itself onto. When the mind can stay there for a few moments, then we move to a subtler space, which is the breath directly. Observing the touch of the air, feeling the touch of the air, just observing and feeling the touch in this area around the nose. That is a subtler level, but that is still somewhat felt. You can still feel the air. You can still feel the warmth, the coolness, the touch of the air. When you're successfully able to stay there, when you're stable in that observation, then we move to the subtlest level, which is observing where this seeing is happening, observing where this perceiving is happening from. Moving your attention to what is the phenomena, the changing phenomena of exhale and inhale, to what is observing this phenomena happening. Where am I witnessing and observing this from? And this is the most powerful part of the practice because it is at the most subtle level. But on some days, you may not have that mental capacity to go so subtle, and that's okay. You can still stay with the breath and still have that quietening happening. Because the mind is always in the past and the future. The mind is always in what happened 5 minutes ago, 1 hour ago, 10 years ago, 30 years ago, or 10 minutes ahead, 2 days ahead, 10 years ahead, or whatever. But right here, right now, the only way to hold the mind is coming back to the body and the breath. But that is like striking a match. It just burns all that clutter. Every moment you can hold your attention on the breath in this moment. It's like striking a match to all those fluctuations. All of them just sort of calm, fade away, fade away, fade away, quieten. And you're not doing anything with the mind. You're not wrestling with the mind. You're just shifting focus here now on the breath. So it's only a practice of choosing where you're anchoring your breath, where you're anchoring your attention moment to moment. It is not a practice of effort. It is only a practice of placing your attention in this place, in the breath. When we come to the subtlest level, which is the seer observing, where is this observation happening from? You are anchoring your attention into what part of you does not change. There is a part of us that does not change, and that is where all of this changing phenomena is observed from. So rather than our mind getting dragged here and moving with this changing phenomena, we are just unhooking it from all of that and turning it back to this inside space where all of this is being observed and noticed from. And the more we can stay there, the more this just sort of recedes. It just sort of loses its grip over us. It may still continue, but it's like there's a detachment now. it doesn't have that grip over us, which makes us feel like we're struggling mentally. It's just there like background music, but it doesn't affect us. Okay, so that is the process of going to the subtler level. Then when we come out again, come out slowly, come back to the more gross level, which is the breath, and then externalize further to the even more gross level, which is the body, and then come into this external gross reality of our surroundings and environment. Yeah, makes sense? If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer. If you don't, that's fine too. If you want to stay in the silence again, please feel free to log off. No pressure to be here. If this discussion is making your mind stimulated again.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Usually, how long would you do a meditation if you have to do it every day? And whether it's good in the morning or in the evening, which is a better time and for how long?
I would say whatever works for you. So I would not even put a time to it. I would say start with 3 to 5 minutes, 3 minutes to 5 minutes. Gradually increase that to 6, 7, 8 minutes. So don't keep time. Just keep like 5 minutes to start with, because even 5 minutes of that deep presence is very powerful. But it is quality presence that we want. So you might sit for 20 minutes and have 3 minutes of quality presence in that. You might sit for 15 minutes and have 1 minute of quality presence. So if that's what works, sit for 15 minutes, get your 1 minute of quality presence being here and now fully, because it's not possible to be there all the time in the beginning. It will cultivate, it will develop with practice. So I would say start with 5-10 minutes. Keep it easy so that it's not like a thing that makes you feel like a mountain that I have to do. Keep it easy so that you look forward to it rather than it seems like a daunting task. And also, whatever rigidity is there around it, stiff posture, body upright, tight spine, all that, I would say keep your back straight, sit wherever you're comfortable with your spine, lift it. But all the rest of the rigidity, let's forget it in the beginning. Let us start to enjoy the feeling that we get after this rather than getting too caught up in the rules and regulations in the beginning. But one thing I'd suggest is try to minimalize movement, because the movement will automatically externalize the mind. So if you feel like this scratch, itch, this, that, do it once, do it twice, but if it keeps happening, try to resist it after a point, just so that the mind doesn't get too restless. Because when your body becomes restless, the mind also becomes restless. And morning or evening, I'd say it depends on you. Whenever you can choose that time. In the morning, the mind is usually quieter, so it's easier to meditate. And the beautiful thing of doing it in the morning is it sort of grounds you through the day, because you've connected with that peace in the morning and it sort of has a lasting effect through the day. In the night, what happens is after we come back from work, after we've had a lot of interaction, the mind is already quite restless. So it becomes a little more difficult. But if you can do it then, it gives you good sleep. You can sleep very peacefully. So both have their pluses and minuses, but morning is beautiful because then that it sets the note for the whole day. It gives your entire day a different quality.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other questions? That's it. Any other questions?
Yeah, hi, I'm visible.
Hi.
Like audible.
How are you, Kushal?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
Yeah.
So actually, it's been I don't have as such a particular question. It's just I wanted to matlab, share the with what I feel right now.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, so it's been long. There were few people who told me to do the meditation and all.
Mhm.
Uh, because we talked and I said, okay, this is this thing which I'm facing, or like whatever it is. So they said you should do some meditation. So this was basically, my first chance into meditation and all. So I am actually right now not sure what to expect from this, and
Expect nothing. Expect nothing.
so the only thing is, when I started, it took me a lot of time to, just focus my mind, because as you were, keep on telling that the mind will wander, and it was wandering.
Yeah.
And just before, uh, closing few minutes back, for a very slight, maybe a minute or two, I feel like, okay, I didn't feel as the body. I
Mhm.
was actually inside, and this, eyes and mouth, and these were all kind of a opening from where I was, looking out from the inside.
Very nice.
I don't know what was that. It
Yeah.
was totally feeling like if that thing will go out, this body will fall down. So
Was there effort in that moment?
no, it was like totally, I had to do nothing. It was feel free, as it like the thing which, when you said like keep observing what is watching. So
Yes.
on those around that point when I was, trying to see, so the mind, like I feel like I am something inside the body. So I don't know if I'm making any sense or not. So
Thing is, here we are not trying to find something to look. We're not trying to find a person inside us. We're not trying to find something inside us. We are only moving our attention from out to in,
okay,
into where we are actually looking from. And the more you go into that, the more the mind loses its grip over us. It's like the mind can't go to that place.
so in that sense, like the mind, initially it was wandering a lot.
Yeah.
Later on, it was not wandering, but
Yes.
I could feel that it was still little bit active.
Active. Yeah. But
What
you
it,
were not in that active energy. You were observing that activeness.
yes,
You were not caught in it like before. Earlier, you might have been caught in that active energy. You might have
yes,
been restlessness yourself, but now you could notice that restlessness, but you are not part of it.
yes, yes,
For witnessing that happening. So that
yes.
is one step inward, which is a great step. That is a big step, in fact. So that is beautiful. And then switching your attention to where all this phenomena is being noticed from. That is the subtler level, which of course it takes practice. So it's very nice that you just step back and observe it rather than being in the thick of it.
In that. And is there any duration to do this, or like
As
50?
long as it takes you to get through.
Okay,
So people can give you like 10 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour, 1 hour, whatever. Like if you go to a yoga course, meditation course, they'll give you all this structure. But in reality, what works for you? Just do that, but do it. For me, I don't believe in rigidity. I believe in consistency.
okay,
Do it more every day. If you do 5 minutes, it's enough, but do it every day.
okay,
Consistency is the game changer, not the rules. The rules will keep us bound after a point, but the only thing is consistency. Keep coming back to it.
okay.
Does anyone else want to share anything else? Any other experience? So that moment when you feel that loss of effort, that dropping away of effort rather, that is when meditation automatically naturally goes deeper. Because to get to that space, first there is effort of being present. And then a point comes where that effort just falls off and it's a steady flow of presence, but effortless. That is the stage of dhyan, effortless presence. So it takes a few minutes to get there with a little bit of effort first, then that effort falls away, and then you're in that flow of dhyan where it doesn't feel like effort anymore.
It stayed there for 2 minutes. Why it later went off? Because maybe I'm not accustomed to sit this long in a particular position. So
But
my
2 minutes of that is a long time.
okay.
That is real quality dhyan.
So my foot got numb, and then I had to change the foot, and again it was like all gone away.
Yes. And that will happen. That will happen. The body will bring us back. So that's why body movement also helps us to sit. That's why we say that all the asana practice also we do, it helps us to sit still. Ultimately, the whole yoga practice is designed to teach us how to sit still. Because even sitting still is not that easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We take it for granted that we can sit, but it is actually not.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Anytime. Thank you. Anyone else? Otherwise, we'll end the session.
By the way, like, will the recording will get?
I will. Do you want me to share the recording?
Yeah, if possible, you can share
I
because I
will.
missed the earlier
I will
part.
share it. Fine, I'll share.
Thank you so much.
Most welcome. Okay, we'll end the session then. So thank you everyone for being here. Thank you for your presence. And I hope a little bit of this translates into your routine somehow, sometime.
Thank you very much.
Have a lovely evening.
Yeah. Hi, Satvika. Thank you so much for this beautiful session. I truly enjoyed it. And
Thank
like
you.
you said, I'll make a conscious choice every single day.
Yes, that's the game changer. Please do that.
Thank you so much.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.